Welcome to I'm From the Internet, a podcast about the internet, its users, and their consequences. I am punished comedian Winslow Domain, sitting here with internet historian Jay Brandstetter. Jay, how have you been, man?
Well, all things considered, I'm clawing my way back to normalcy. It's good to be back in the recording chamber. I feel like I'm kind of getting back into a regular rhythm of life and everything, and it's going to be good to talk about some dumb internet bullshit again.
Yeah, it's just been a litany of pain for both of us. It's been a whole world, and we're back here talking about stupid internet bullshit. But no, I'm still in the Richard Kiyanka Lotex Memorial Podcasting Chamber, and now I've hung up more blankets and towels around the entire thing, so there's less of an echo. So if I sound different, that's why. But yeah, life's a nightmare over here. But I can say that I don't know when this episode is going to drop. But before we get too deep into it, I do want to say that one, we do have a Patreon, $1 a month. You get a whole bunch of extra episodes. All that money goes to Jay and Steve. Please check it out. It's very fun. We just dropped a whole bunch of good stuff there.
Yeah, we have over 50 episodes on the Patreon now, and also we were a little slow the past couple months because of all the life stuff I was going through with Fred. But we have one we're going to be recording today, and we're sort of back in the swing of things. So I'm pretty going to be fun to talk about some different stuff. Yeah,
it's definitely there's more stuff coming up. So please check that out. It's fun. It's the same thing as this podcast, just more so. I will keep my updates brief. The game that I made, The Restless, is on its way to me. It's going to be arriving later this month, which is crazy. After 5 fucking years, it's finally it's in the water. It's coming. Hopefully not in the water. It's on the water. Coming to me now. So that'll be a whole thing. We'll probably do an episode about that at some point once it's shipped out to all of the backers and all that. But if you want a copy, it's called The Restless. It's entirely drawn by hand. It's on winslowdomain.com. You can find it there. And also, I'm going to be doing the Oddities and Curiosities Expo this year. Probably be a little too late for the first couple dates, but I'm going to be in Louisville, Charlotte, Atlanta, Milwaukee, Columbus, Indianapolis, Tulsa, St. Louis, Chicago, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Detroit, Omaha, and Richmond, plus a couple more, maybe, if the things line up right. So if any of those are cities that you're near, please come out to the Oddities and Curiosities Expo, find my booth named Comorbid, and I will give you a firm handshake. That would be lovely to meet some more people from the show.
Yeah, aren't you also soliciting people for stuff for your next project, where if they come to your booth or something, they can maybe be in it?
Fuck, that's what I was supposed to do this morning. God damn it. Yes. Yes, I am doing, I'm making a new game. I'm shooting it with a infrared camera as well as some other tools. So I will be doing that throughout the next year or so. So I'm trying to find people who might want to be included in the game. And that's going to involve basically meeting people on the road. So if any of those cities are near you and you'd like to potentially appear in my next game, just get in contact with me, and eventually I will be posting a link to like formally sign up for everything. But you just message me when you hear this, and I will get you that link. So I can't get into anything of my life without screaming, so we're just gonna take it away. And Jay, you're gonna tell me what the fuck I'm looking at right now.
All right. Well, today's episode is titled The Veggie Monster Myth from 2005, and it's brought to you by the shutdown of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, because recently the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, the people, responsible for PBS and such, shut down because of the government funding being canceled. So I figured now that era is basically over, it's good to maybe reflect on some of it. And also it made me think of this because I was thinking about Sesame Street, and I was like, oh yeah, that actually took place largely on the internet. This story.
Yeah, I'll bet there's a good Snopes podcast out there, I'm sure, but this is definitely I don't know. I guess it's just something that I thought was real. I'm about to find out how stupid I am.
Snopes, I do want to shout them out. Their article from back in the day was very useful for this, and also the Muppet fandom in general, and also their wiki in particular. They are very devoted fans about categorizing stuff, as we'll see. That was very useful for researching this episode. So thank you, Muppet fans.
It's crazy that like every type of thing there is some like fandom subsection that is like completely dedicated to like the minutia of categorizing every piece of it. You know what I mean? Like there's always going to be that like 7% of an audience. It's like, well, I'm here for the data, and so that's how you get like the fans of the show. And then the people that are like, I run the Muppet Wiki, and I run it with an iron fist.
Yeah, and I don't own the Muppet Wiki. I do it for a for-profit company without getting paid.
Yes, yeah. And that company also gives a lot of their money to the IDF. But we can get into that one later.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But tell me about this Muppet Monster story here.
Cool, yeah. And like I think Sesame Street is pretty interesting. I do have a background in education and such, as well as just liking, puppets and entertainment and such. And that's how this started out. I was going to do a bonus episode about Sesame Street myths because of the shutdown. The Veggie Monster one wound up being enough for a whole proper episode.
Okay.
Yeah, and it stuck with me for almost 20 years because it was kind of a microcosm of how the internet was going to make people stupid, basically. You take a piece of minutiae, you misrepresent it out of context in a way that suggests a narrative. People get mad at the narrative that makes them construct. And then even if you disprove the thing they originally got mad at, that underlying assumption has been reinforced. Like if you ever see someone go, well, the fact that I fell for it certainly says X about Y. Like that's that principle in action.
Yeah. Saturday morning breakfast cereal did the canon comic about that of just like how frustrating it is to like prove that someone believed a lie, and then they just go like, well, yes, but because I believed it means that it's partially not a lie. And it's like, no, you are a fool.
Yeah.
You should be placed in a vat of tar.
Yeah, if anything, it's the opposite. That means your defenses aren't strong enough.
Exactly.
Like I don't want to get in front of, I am not better than or above this. I even ended with a couple examples of things I fell for, just so people, to put myself out there. But yeah, this is very relatable and human. That's part of it. It's how you react to it and come away from it that matters.
Yeah, I think one of the antibodies that you can have towards this whole thing is being a genuine 34-year-old adult, being a genuine adult of any age, and just saying, hey, I don't care about the changes to Sesame Street's lineup. Why would I? I have to fix my truck. This kind of stuff is so funny because the cultural cachet, obviously, of Sesame Street is large, but there's more kids watching Bluey, right?
Yeah.
And so imagine running up to a 45-year-old dock worker and going like, hey, they changed Bluey. They changed the main character in Bluey to be this different character. And he goes, I have work to do. I am covered in grease. That makes sense because he has work to do. If you run up to that same guy and be like, hey, man, you know that the Veggie Monster is now the Cookie Monster is now trans, and he says that he's a gender monster, and he would just go like, I am going to shoot my congressman, like, you know what I mean? Like the antibody is just going like, hey man, I have not watched this program in a long time. I don't give a shit about it anymore. It's done. It's gone. Who cares?
Well, Cookie Monster does have blue hair.
Yes, touche. Yeah. You just have to like that. The hot rock of giving a fuck about puppets is the stone that you have to release it from your hand. It's like what the Buddha said. You just kind of have to turn your hand over and let the stone fall out.
Or make a podcast about it.
Or make a podcast about it. Yes, exactly. We are both just kind of like Muppet bodhisattvas over here, just trying to guide you towards nirvana, the nirvana that is not caring about the Muppets. That's a shirt. If we ever make merch, Nirvana is not caring about the Muppets, I think is great. And it's like Elmo, but he's like just disintegrating into dust,
If you beat the Muppet on the road to enlightenment, kill him.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Relinquish thyself.
Yeah, I do like plenty of Muppet stuff, by the way, of course. I don't want any Muppet fans out there to be like loading their Muppet sniper rifles as they hear me saying this.
Well, I mean, like, not to put too fine of a point on it, but I do think that there is, like, when it comes to Muppets or to anything, it's perfectly okay to have a passing pleasure from it, where you go, oh, that's kind of funny. But when it negatively affects your life, you have to let it go. I'm not saying don't care about anything. I'm saying, like, hey, there's some picture of Miss Piggy watching Sabrina Carpenter, and like her Muppet mouth is like open a little bit, and so it just looks like Miss Piggy is just in awe of this kind of aesthetically similar petite blonde woman, Miss Piggy and all that. And that's funny. I don't give a single fuck about Miss Piggy. If there was stuff about Miss Piggy that would make me angry, I would just walk away. But if there's something that makes me smile, I'll keep it. And you can do that with anything.
Like Miss Piggy, one of her central jokes is that she beats her boyfriend, Mr. Kermit. Hi-ya!
Yeah. I just let it go. Like, I don't give a fuck about it. And it's like kind of typified in like John Boy's telling me about sports. All I get from his content or his coverage is that it's these fun, interesting, beautiful little stories about life and statistics and the pursuits of these eager young athletes. And it's all of that's so beautiful and enlightening and fun and interesting and funny. I don't watch the sports and like cry and punch a hole in the drywall when my selected team doesn't win. So I get the good stuff and I leave the bad. And you can do that with everything. It's great. You don't have to care as much as the world is telling you to. You do have to care about some things, but you don't have to care about Miss Piggy.
Yeah. We have real monsters. You don't have to worry about Cookie Monster right now.
Yes, exactly. Like, exactly. If you are dating someone who treats you the way Miss Piggy treats Kermit, get help. Talk to me. But, you don't have to care about these puppets. It's fine. Who cares? Let it go. Anyways, tell me why I should care about the Veggie Monster.
Okay, so I grabbed these quotes off of Snopes, and they're accurate to my lived experience at the time this happened. Because this was 2005 and 2006. I was in high school at the time, and a part of why this stood out to me is this was one of the first times like I was aware of adults in my life being wrong about something. So if you want to alternate, we could read these different quotes here we have.
This actually came up in physics class. Somehow something was said to prompt another kid to remark that Sesame Street's popular Cookie Monster was renamed to the Veggie Monster to be more politically correct and cut down on obesity in America.
Another coworker put up a petition to save Cookie Monster from being kicked off Sesame Street for being fat. I had heard that they were just changing his diet to include healthy foods and not just cookies, but she is insisting that they are removing him from the show.
I read that Cookie Monster had his ribs removed so he could suck his own dick. And he caused Columbine. Okay, sorry. Cookie Monster getting his ribs removed so he could eat from the cookie dough tube that is his penis.
You don't have bones.
And oh man, the semen that comes out like cookie dough is definitely that's what happens when you thicken your Gatorade too much. I just found out that they tried to change Cookie Monster to the Veggie Monster. What the fuck? Just ruined my childhood memories.
When they changed the Cookie Monster, did they slowly change him, or is it one day he was Cookie Monster and the next he was Veggie Monster?
I guess they changed Cookie Monster to the Veggie Monster. Are they serious?
Yeah. And I searched on Twitter when I was writing this episode, and 8 minutes ago when I did the search, somebody did a sincere reference to Veggie Monster. This is something with a long tail. Somebody was talking about Jelly Roll is in the news for trying to not talk about politics. And so this post goes, I'm sorry, he can't be called Jelly Roll anymore after getting fat removal surgery. It's like when Cookie Monster became Veggie Monster. Either commit to the rebrand or get fat as shit again, which that might be for the sake of a joke, but it's still an example of how this is something that's still in the culture.
Yeah, I like that one. That one's funny, but I do have to say, Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll is just this perfect example of like politics or anything that is anything that I disagree with. And so he was asked to like comment on ice, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just a dumb redneck." And then like smash cut to every time that he's had pictures taken with Trump or with cops or whatever. None of that's politics. That doesn't count as politics. Politics is when a woman has blue hair and says that something should be different. That's what happens. Jelly Roll is a cuck. He should be crushed. Anyways, I like to get in my actionable statements just like right under the radar. I don't want to come out and say it at the top of the show, but I just like to slip it in like a thin knife. Anyways, okay, that is funny though.
Okay, yeah. And I just kind of put us in the time and place of 2005 so you can understand why this was a concern, why people were talking about this. Super Size Me came out in 2004. That's an illustration of how the topic of junk food and the obesity epidemic were very much in our cultural front lines. It was something that people were talking about. There was a rise in obesity along with a rise in our culture becoming meaner and more superficial at this time. This was the era of reality TV and the war in Iraq. Everyone's being really mean. And also just when adults get anxious about something, they project it onto their kids. So the topic of childhood obesity was also at the forefront as we were scared about our own obesity. And there were some new statistics showing that there was a market increase, and it was this scrutiny wasn't undeserved. Lunchables weren't invented until 1988. The world had been changing a lot, and we needed to reckon with it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is an interesting thing. If you want to get more into the weeds on this exact topic, Maintenance Phase, the podcast Maintenance Phase, has a ton of stuff about like obesity panic and the whole culture of that.
They have an episode about Super Size Me. It's quite good.
Yeah. If you don't already know that Super Size Me is like the most insane crock of shit from a like sexual freak, sex pest, you really gotta like do some Googling about Super Size Me, because it is such a wild piece of shit lie that like it satisfied our preconceived notions about fast food, and they just it's like America saw this movie that allowed them to be mad at fat people, and they just like, all right, let's put it in every single classroom in America. They did not check his facts. It was literally a N equals 1. Like this, the surveys, the test group was just one guy who was lying about his alcoholism. Yeah, it's such a crock of shit. It's so funny.
Oh, definitely. Like, I don't think you have to fight fair when you're fighting McDonald's, but it's very funny in hindsight that the actual health problems were just him being a secret alcoholic.
Yeah, I just think that dude's end was so funny, where like he was exposed as this massive liar.
He's self-incriminated, about his.
Yeah, he Me Too's himself, and he's like, "Hey guys, I was lying about all of that. I was a rapist, like sex pest, and an alcoholic who lied about his alcoholism to make a huge documentary that was completely fucking wrong. And I lied to everyone, and I feel really bad." And then he just died about it. He just died right in the middle of it.
Well, I'm out.
I mean, like the number of people who died in World War I in the midst of having diarrhea, in the lived experience of experiencing diarrhea, is kind of like, it's a similar death to the Super Size Me guy. It's like, oh, I had a Fu Manchu, I raped some people, and then I died. Great. What a life. I'm glad you're gone. Dude sucks. Anyways.
Yeah, he never did find Osama bin Laden.
Nope. Oh God, kid cuisines. I remember these.
Yeah, I wanted an illustration of like how the early 2000s, another way they were really bad for kids' nutrition was this was when mass marketing junk food to children was really big, because we were at the height of blockbuster crossover promotion. Like the one I always think about was when Shrek 2 came out, literally every piece of food targeted at kids had Shrek on it in some sort of green variation. Like kid cuisine, Twinkies, waffle sticks, Gushers, pizza rolls, all this stuff. And then Shrek is also doing PSAs for childhood fitness while he's shilling for junk food. Like this is a great example of how trying to fix this problem with more capitalism isn't working. Yeah.
Yeah. And I do like the phrasing of this makes it sound like Shrek did this. Like Shrek signed all of these things like he's this wayward celebrity. But yeah, no, he's on. You just scrolled past like 16 pictures of Shrek on ices and popcorn and Twinkies and Go-Gurts.
The most unnaturally colored food you've ever seen.
Everything just absolute. Like one of those tubes is like this pink shred ejaculate, and just on and on and on and on and on. And yeah, now he's saying like, all right, kids, now that you've eaten your 54 grams of processed sugars, go outside and play with this Frisbee and then play Shrek for the PlayStation 2. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
Also, another funny detail to that is when they got pushback for that, DreamWorks tried to make up for it by doing cross-promotion with healthier food. So we have all this cool, glamorous, colorful Shrek promotion. And then for Kung Fu Panda, it's just like, let's put them on a box of tofu. Oh, that's the same thing, right?
Oh, my God. Okay, that's insanity. When has a child ever said, Mother, please, I want the tofu. Mother, I crave the bean curd. And this cartoon panda is the one that's going to give it to me. I have only ever known bisexual women and my roommate to be purchasing tofu. That is the extent of it. If you buy tofu and you're neither of those groups, keep it to yourself. But yeah, no, this is absurd. This is so stupid.
Yeah, and so luckily Sesame Street isn't beholden to the private sector, so they aren't compromised like this. If they want to address this problem, they can be more methodical about it. And a big part of Sesame Street's methodology is that they adapt. Like comedy, teaching's all about your audience. It's all about, you teach to the people you're teaching to. And,
Right.
the entire reason why Sesame Street exists is because adults were reacting to children's fascination with this new technology that didn't exist when they were kids. I do kind of feel a connection with them in that sense because I'm someone who was born before the internet, but now my entire life is based around it. So I can kind of see the parallels there. These people like, this TV thing is new and interesting. How can we use this better?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So because of that, I want to try to establish why they were addressing this problem in the first place. So this isn't just like a 20-minute episode. And so this is sort of a little history of Sesame Street and why they were making this sort of choice at the time. So
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
This document that you've pulled up looks extremely incriminating.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
A photocopy of a photocopy. It's a 1967 report that was sort of the foundation of Sesame Street, The Potential Uses of Television in Preschool Education by Joan Gans Cooney. And I have a quote from the opening. They go, "This report is based on a 4-month survey of opinions of leading cognitive psychologists and educators in the field of preschool education, as well as of television producers, filmmakers, and other specialists in the field of children's entertainment." That's one of the fun things about this is people who worked in television were like, we need to do better stuff for kids. This stuff sucks.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know the extent of the politics of the statement, but I do think that child liberation is important because of how miserable it is to be a child all of the time. To be a child is to functionally live in a single fascist country where you are nothing and the entire ruling class is your parents, right? It sucks to be a kid. And so I every once in a while see an adult that actually recognizes just how much it sucks to be a child.
Oh,
so
yeah, no,
that makes sense.
Very much, yeah. And that was part of the 60s and the civil rights movement. It was a minor part of it, but part of it was treating children better. In 1964, President Lyndon B. Johnson had launched the War on Poverty during his inauguration. And a part of that was in 1965, they established the Head Start Act to try and help with early childhood development. At this point, only about half of American school districts offered kindergarten. There was still this kind of attitude that there wasn't really a point in trying to teach young children because they wouldn't learn and you should just focus on their emotional development. And then when they're a little older, you can start teaching them. So they were like, why should we spend money on kindergarten? They should just be with their parents. They're not going to learn anything.
Yeah. It's crazy how much this country hates their kids. You don't need my dumb ass to tell you how it relates to capitalism, but everybody's so afraid and they need money and they have to go to work. And so having to deal with the extra work of having kids just fries people's brains. And so, yeah, you get this exact thing where it's just they're not going to learn. So, yeah.
Yeah, one of the quietly jokerifying parts of the pandemic was how many people were just openly oh, I can't stand being around my kids and now they're home all day. It's
Yeah. I mean, just what was it? A couple weeks ago, there's that guy who went viral for talking about I don't know if I'm alone in this, but I actually hate being around my children. I think it's stupid and boring. This is weird because I thought that it would be great. And then you scroll through his tweets and he basically a few years ago explicitly says I'm going to have children because I think that it'll give me meaning in life. I have no plans for like how I'll handle it, but I'm going to have children because it's going to make me a better person. And then he does, and it just is terrible. It's just like, oh, you dumb animal. You're going to go into the same pit that I put Jelly Roll. My goal is to get this podcast big enough that it becomes something that we have to cut out when I say things like that. Because right now, nobody's going to report me. But someday, I'd like to be legally compromised. Anyways.
Yeah. I want someone to yell at me because I'm threatening their bottom line. That's how I know I've really made it.
Exactly. Yeah. I want to fuck with the advertisers.
Yeah. And so the idea behind the potential uses of television in preschool education was basically that kids spend all day watching television, so why don't we try taking advantage of that to reach kids who aren't in school, which is a pretty solid concept, I think, as it turned out. And one of the reasons why I like old television history is that a lot of what people said about television back then maps almost exactly onto what people say now about the internet. Is a good reminder that, we've kind of always been like this and been going through these struggles. I have this quote here. It says, "A word about children's programs. Most of those commercially sponsored seem to be inordinately noisy and mindless affairs. Unfortunately, most serious efforts to provide educational fare for young children have been undertaken on a local basis only by impecunious educational television stations and are too often marked by a slow and monotonous pace and a lack of professionalism. One wonders if even such erstwhile national favorites as Ding Dong School would be popular today in light of the widespread viewing by children of adult programs." So we're going to get into Ding Dong School in a moment. I'm not letting that one go by, but
yeah. I mean, like, adults hating things for children has been like, a tale as old as time. But yeah, I do think that like there has been kind of a push and pull because, of course, adults really hated the noisy, mindless, quote unquote, noisy and mindless programs that were made for kids. But then they made a soft, sweet show. They made Barney, and adults were like, I'm going to slit my wrists if I have to see Barney again. And then they made Teletubbies, and that like scared the living shit out of them. And they made all these insane rumors about how the Teletubbies are like secretly gay or whatever.
Tinky Winky.
Yep.
He's purple, he has a triangle on his head, and he carries a purse. So obviously that means he's gay, and not that this is a show for literal pre-verbal 2-year-olds.
Yeah, exactly. And like the idea of a child seeing a gay alien with a TV in its stomach is going to be like, must suck cock. Like, that's not how that works, man. No. So tell me more about what a Ding Dong School is.
Yeah, because from the title, I thought Ding Dong School is where they sent Frank Reynolds because they thought he had donkey brains. But no, Ding Dong School is the name of one of the earliest like shows that was successfully targeting young children.
It's Dracula's wife.
Began in 1952 in Chicago's own WNBQ, and she won a Peabody Award for this. It was actually like pretty successful. The host is this woman named Miss Francis, and it's called Ding Dong School because she rang a bell to open every episode. And a lot of the marketing, it was based around the bell. Like even back then, they had the thing where they had like a signature item that kids could focus on, like how now Blippi has his glasses and his hat. I hate that guy so much.
Who's Blippi?
He's a YouTuber who used to be like an extreme edgy prank guy. There's like he did a Harlem Shake video where the drop is him like shitting on his friend, literally. And then he tried to like cynically rebrand as a children's entertainer. So he was like, well, I have to have a hat and glasses so I can merchandise it. And like, he's just like a very cynical and empty like children's entertainer that parents hate. Like there are articles about him and his methodology. Interesting.
I have never heard of that. I will tell the listener that these old crunchy ads of 1952, Chicago's WNBQ, Ding Dong School, I need you to picture what if Herman Munster was like maybe 6 months into transitioning into Hermanette Munster because it is like the widow's peak silver hair. It is. I'm sorry. It just looks like trans Herman Munster.
Yeah, like if you picture school marm in your head, this is probably the woman you would picture. Like a nice one. She looks very friendly. Like she's a real person.
Well, school marm with 10% Dracula. Yes. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, this quote I found about its creation was fun because it sounds kind of threatening. They go, there are more than 235,000 preschool children in the Chicago area. What are you going to do about it?
Oh man, and they're coming at night. Yes, they have fangs that can pierce through armor.
The sequel to Weapons. Weapons
yes,
of mass
exactly.
destruction.
Yeah, Arsenal. That's great.
And I did think it was kind of funny that, like, we've kind of come full circle, because now, like, one of the most popular entertainers for young children is Miss Rachel, which is this exact same type of format where it's like one person, it's very personal, it's very close. It's not like we're kind of back at this. Like, I actually pulled up an archival episode of Ding Dong School, and it looks a lot like the material that kids watch on YouTube now. It's like her playing with sand, her finger painting, her reading books to them. And it's like her talking to the camera in a soft voice. It's very quiet. There's not music or anything. You can tell it's a really old show, but like I could see how if you were a small child at the time, this would be very hypnotic.
Yeah. She's probably an absolutely lovely person. Anybody who has the patience to do this kind of thing, I'm sure is a saint. But yes, exactly that. It is just her playing with sand and kind of explaining how to play and painting. Of course, it's all in black and white, so you're not getting a whole lot out of it, but she does, and it is kind of funny to kind of draw the line between her and the Addams Family, because the set of the Addams Family was actually painted pink and not black and white, because it actually showed up better. I mean, that could be a fucking urban legend. I don't know.
No, it is absolutely true. You can see the color pictures of it. Also, like I Love Lucy looked pretty interesting in color too. That's always a fun thing to see, is how they made it look different so it would work better in black and white.
She like goes out of her way to have like very stark contrast between the materials, because not everything is going to show up effectively in a black and white screen. So she's, this is soft, palatable entertainment and education. Stimulation for kids. That's not Goku. So fine. Yeah, 1952 Goku.
Go Cat. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the ending of the show is also kind of interesting too. The national broadcast was canceled in 1956 in favor of The Price is Right, because she refused to allow an ad for a BB gun to air during the show. And before that, she'd had a long friction over the commercialization of the role. Like, they were trying to make all this merch, and she was like, okay, if we're going to make merch, it has to at least be like stuff kids can actually play with, like finger paints. It has to be a certain quality. It has to be affordable. It can't be too expensive. But yeah, like they were just like selling kids these official Ding Dong School finger paints and such.
Yeah. Also,
I love that the person reselling this, it's obviously a used kit. There's paint all over the sticks and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it makes me think of, I think we've talked about it before, but like, the guy that made, the original guy that made the Lego, his thing was like, that war is not a toy. War is not a game. Guns are not toys. And we're not going to make army sets. We're not going to make soldiers. We're not going to make guns or bombs. And like, they have a caveat that like a fantasy or a fictional depiction is fine, which I kind of explodes a little bit of it. But so you can have like a pirate with a blunderbuss or whatever, but they don't have tanks or like soldiers or anything, to the point where they were making one of their Technics sets that was this jump jet like Osprey, like one of those seaplanes that has the big turbines that can like rotate. And they had the set made, and they had all the dies cast. They packaged it up. It was being shipped out, and then the Osprey canceled their contract with like it stopped being used as a seaplane and started having some limited military applications. And Lego recalled the toys, which I think is really interesting. They actually took a principled stance. They're like, we're not making toys of army planes or tanks or guns or bombs. That's the law of Lego. And I don't know. It's an interesting history, I guess. But
it is, yeah. And it does sort of make sense, because the reason why Miss Francis was like this is her full name is Frances Horwich, and she was the head of the Department of Education at Roosevelt College before she was hired onto the show. So like she was somebody who was like a professional. She had like a PhD, and she like worked with preschool children professionally her whole life. So she was like an accomplished person. She was principled and knowledgeable about this. So she was willing to take that stand, and I think that's really cool.
Frances Horwich, buddy. The only Horwich I know is my wife. I mean, come on. It's like your name is Horwich? Yes, HORWICH, fine, but Jesus Christ, this is my husband, Norwegian dick bastard. Jesus, yeah. That's rough.
This is my husband, Frank Dracula orgasm.
Dracula orgasm with a hyphen in it. That's great. Yeah, that's so funny.
God, yeah. So anyways, back to that report. They had another section here I wanted to read. They go, anyone who has small television viewers at home can testify to the fascination that commercials hold for children. Parents report that their children learn to recite all sorts of advertising slogans, read product names on the screen and more remarkably elsewhere, and to sing commercial jingles. It is, of course, open to serious question how valuable the content is that these commercials teach, but they do prove a point. Children can and do learn in the traditional educational sense from watching television. Yep. And I like that quote because it is true in that sense. It's also kind of one of Sesame Street's thing is that they have to compete with what else is available for children. You know, this isn't just like, I think a good distillation of that is one of the foundational tools of Sesame Street is a device called the distractor. Have I ever told you about the distractor before?
Is that where you sit on your hand before you jack off?
It's where you sit on the hand before you pilot the Muppet, so it's like it's really talking to you.
Oh, wow. That's really fucking funny, dude.
Thank you.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, tell me more.
So here's a little diagram of it. Basically, they did testing on this show. When they were seeing if a segment would work with a kid, they would have them watch it, and they would have the TV playing Sesame Street, and next to it, they would have a projector that would cycle through just random, exciting, like interesting images, like cool buildings or nature or whatever. And the idea was if Sesame Street can't compete with the distractor, how can they hope to compete with whatever's on the next channel? And this was a part of their methodology. And also, I really like this photo because a big part of Sesame Street was it was like these educated, sort of well-off people trying to reach poorer and less well-off people. So this image is very striking because it's like this little black girl with very dark skin, framed in shadow, watching it. And then in the background, you have these very like harshly illuminated like white people and like kind of square looking, watching her intently as she watches it. Like educating children in general, you're always on the outside looking in, but especially when it's someone who's demographically different from you. That's why you always want to like do this research and find ways to connect them instead of just going off of your gut. Yeah, I mean
it's a very interesting photograph. Like there's just so much going on. Like it's a feast in every direction. Because you have like not really even in focus in the far left side, you have the screen, the Sesame Street screen, and then in the corner of the room, you have the man in white with the black tie sitting next to the distraction screen, and then a woman sitting in a rocking chair next to that, and then there is this. You're right, this young black girl completely like cloaked in shadow. This is a very evocative photograph of it. It's interesting that it's not ominous, I guess, because what these people are trying to do is like educate this young girl with like, wholesome programming. Yeah, but it is interesting. I would say the distractor is the fact that you have this absolute smoke show in the corner and this babe over here in the rocking chair, because buddy, I would be distracted too. You got two things going on here, but that's funny. Yeah. Interesting photo.
And that is kind of relevant to this show's theme too, because I see parents on the internet now citing CoComelon using a similar process as like the sinister new brainjacking technique, when it's just been common practice for every show they grew up with, and probably the ones their parents did too. That's how children's television works, is they test it like this.
Yeah. I didn't know there was that much of a science to it. But yeah, I've heard that. You're right. Is it CoComelon? Or is it Caillou that is like designed to be like hypnotically brain trappy?
It's CoComelon, because CoComelon is targeting like pre-K. It's like pre-verbal, whereas Caillou is more talky and moralistic, from what I understand. Yeah. I never watched it, of course, but like I'm just aware of this stuff because I was studying education at the time.
Yeah, somebody watches it a lot and like updates the wiki and everything. That's funny.
The guy vandalized the Caillou wiki because he thought it was all about cancer. That's why he doesn't have any hair.
Yeah, no, it's actually about circumcision. Deep cut.
Yeah. And also just like to give it, like Sesame Street has an education and research department that works hand in hand with the actual production side. Like it's not just like a group of people that pop their head and they're like, you need to add a limit. It's like a central part of their creation. And just as examples of how they've done changes over the years, like they added Elmo in the 80s. He wasn't an original part of the cast. I have a note here, too, while we're talking about Elmo. Did you ever watch that documentary, Being Elmo, in 2011? I remember it was kind of popular. It doesn't seem like something you'd watch, but I thought I'd ask.
No, Jay, I did not watch Being Elmo.
Good. Because the reason why I'm mentioning it is because it came out in 2011, and then in 2012, Kevin Clash, it came out that he had been... He was a pederast, basically. And it's interesting because when I was watching the documentary, I remember thinking to myself, I was like, this guy is supposed to be someone whose whole life is about children and families, but he hardly ever talks about his own children and family in this movie. And when he does, it's like a montage of celebrities wishing his daughter happy birthday because that's he was working during it. So later on that came out, I was like, oh, okay, that makes perfect sense. And no wonder he didn't give a shit about his family. He was out fucking Red Boys the whole time.
Who is Kevin Clash? He's the voice of Elmo?
He's the puppeteer for Elmo as well as the voice. Yeah. So he's ever since 2013, he's been performed and voiced by someone else. Although researching this, I was shocked to find out that Kevin Clash is working for the Muppets again. He doesn't work with Sesame Street anymore, but he worked on The Dark Crystal and Fraggle Rock on Netflix. So you'd think fucking kids would be disqualifying for, also he didn't get convicted because the statute of limitations had expired because it happened when they were teenagers. And by the time they were adults and realized something wrong had happened, it had already been 6 years.
Okay, help me out here. What's the difference between a pederast and just a child molester?
I don't know. I just didn't want to say pedophile, I guess. I wanted to say something a little I don't know. Actually.
Interesting.
Probably misused that word. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I didn't know that. That's a bummer. But
it really is. Yeah.
Besides the point, but that's it's like why you find pedophiles in the church or at the Boy Scouts or anything like that. It's like, well, yeah, they go to the place where they can do the thing that they want to do. So it's not that Sesame Street was like a honeypot for pedophiles. Yeah. It was just that's where they go,
Yeah, and plus it sucks because it's like you're a man who works in children's education. In entertainment. You know how much scrutiny you would get, dude. Like you're making us look bad. Come on.
Oh yeah, I mean, like
on top of that, on top of everything else.
I don't know. There was some comedian somewhere who was just saying like, I don't know the exact phrasing, but it's like I cannot imagine being so overwhelmed by this like psychotic desire that like every part of our culture is telling you like, do not ever do this. We will punish you to the ends of allegedly punish you. Obviously with the Epstein stuff, nobody's actually getting punished, but like you have to overcome so many different things to put yourself in that position to do evil. It's the psychology of it is very interesting and gross and bad. So
it really is.
Anyways,
back to Sesame Street. Yeah, another example is in the 90s they added Rosita for kids from Spanish-speaking families. She's a little blue Muppet. That's another fun thing about looking up Sesame Street too is you can tell exactly when you aged out of it because like you see puppets you don't recognize as it goes on. It's like, okay, yeah, that's when I stopped watching. I don't recognize that one.
Yeah, I don't recognize fucking Big Bird up there and Elmo up there. I got that.
Yeah, this picture is another fun thing is internationally, there are international versions of Sesame Street, and they make Muppets targeting other countries' issues and sensibilities. So these are the international Muppets.
And it's important to note that the international version of Muppets in Russia, they don't have fur. It's all just skin. It's all just human skin. It's all just squeaky, greasy skin. They have patches of fur like they're in mid-stage alopecia, but that's it. They're all just like little greasy blobs. Yeah.
Yeah. Although funny enough, one of these is actually the Russian one. The one, the blue one, Blue Nightmare, that's Zelaboba from Russia. Tall Oscar is Nim Nim from Egypt. That bear is Samson from Germany. My favorite is Abelardo, the parrot from Mexico. He's Big Bird's cousin who speaks Spanish. So that's really cute that he has a cousin that's a South American bird and they know each other and such. And also, he's a cute design. He's very colorful.
Oh, that's great. He's South American. Yeah, he's a parrot. Come on. That's so good. Also, Abelardo, best burrito in Omaha, Nebraska. If you're in Omaha and you somehow don't know about Abelardo's, go. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That's my first stop whenever I'm in Omaha.
Yeah, and just like some other examples, like in India, they have Chomki to focus on improving literacy in girls. I remember one that made the news when it happened. Kami in South Africa is an HIV positive Muppet for children who are growing up with that. And Palestine has their own Sesame Street Muppets, Kareem the rooster and Haneen the monster. So they're quite cute. And also, like, yeah, they were making Muppets for a country that a lot of people wouldn't even recognize. Yeah, you got to reach kids.
A lot of this is like, especially like how there's a Muppet with like a dad that's in prison, or a Muppet that's HIV positive, or a Muppet that's autistic or something like that.
Yeah, the French one is in a wheelchair.
Yeah, and like for each one of those, there is an outrage cycle of adults who like drive trucks and wear like wraparound sunglasses going like, what the fuck? Why are we making these kids feel included too? This is bullshit. And like they get so mad that like, why is a Muppet in a fucking wheelchair? You know, like they get so goddamn angry about it. And it's like, hey man, not only does this not matter to you, but why shouldn't we? Like they shouldn't know about wheelchairs. Otherwise they're just going to start getting into wheelchair music. Jesus Christ. You fucking animals. And not Animal the Muppet, I should note.
Yeah. Gosh.
Yeah.
Although it is kind of funny because Elmo did sort of have his own little controversy in the 80s and 90s. There was this conception at the time that Sesame Street was getting dumber and that Elmo was a part of that. But that's also kind of an example of their methodology. Originally, Sesame Street was targeting 3 to 5-year-olds. As time went on, video games and cable television started kind of poaching more and more older kids, whereas more younger kids started watching it. So they shifted to that. Like by 2002, the main target audience and viewership was about 2 years old. So Sesame Street going from teaching sentences to teaching numbers and colors isn't because the kids are getting dumb. It's because younger kids are watching Sesame Street.
Yeah. But the stupidest possible interpretation of that is the one that Americans are going to go with. It's that kids are getting dumber, and they're just going to run with anything that makes them mad is just like, it's just like candy for the American mind.
Yeah. And one more thing sort of relevant to this show is that they were early adopters of technology. They were making computer and video games as early as the 70s. Like on the Atari, you could get a Cookie Monster game. And also they were relatively early adopters of the internet. Sesame Street had a web presence in 1997.
The handshake meme of pornography and Sesame Street moving technology forward. Yeah.
Again, yeah.
That's funny.
Horseshoe theory for technology adoption.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and they were relatively early adopters of the internet. Sesame Street had a web presence in 1997 aimed at parents because, they care about little kids. And like little kids probably shouldn't be on the internet right now. And also the Sesame Street Workshop had their own entire web presence. They had a web space called Kid City with their own original sites. Like one I actually spent a lot of time on was Sticker World. It was a thing where you could make your own website, and it was really clever because the idea was kids understand stickers. The idea is you go there, and it's like you read articles, do trivia, play games. You earn points, use those to buy stickers, and you have a website that's a grid, like an 8x8 thing of squares, and you can put your stickers in there, and your site is publicly viewable. So you can like link it to your friends, or you can just randomly explore other kids' pages. And they were very clever about like there were some stickers that were letters, but they very conspicuously avoided certain letters to keep kids from swearing. So like I had a guinea pig at the time, and I wanted to have a thing where I said, I heart guinea pigs, but there was no P, so I had to use an ear sticker because the ear is kind of P-shaped.
That's so interesting. Yeah, because I mean, it's just if we should just make a separate internet for children, and then I don't know, but
they tried that. It's called Roblox.
Yeah, they tried that. It's called Roblox, but it's like if this was around today, it would cost you $9.99 a month at least. And it would be full of ads, and you'd have to pay more for extra premium stickers, and there would be loot packs, and like
stickers promoting the newest movies. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it'd be Shrek stickers. It would just be medication stickers. It would just be a total fucking nightmare. And it would also, we would find out later that everybody involved in it, there were no children that actually used it. It would just have been all pedophiles pretending to be children talking to other pedophiles. Yeah,
that's the trick. We trap them that way.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like at a Klan meetup, it's just all undercover cops, and it's just like, well, what are we doing here, guys? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all lead up to explain why in 2005, Sesame Street saw that there was a lot of concern about health and fitness and nutrition among children, and they wanted to do something about it. So they launched the Healthy Habits for Life initiative to focus specifically on that. And also, seasons of Sesame Street are themed, so they made the theme of season 36 that as well. Because they're like, okay, this is going to be our focus for now. And like the Surgeon General was involved with this. It was a pretty big deal that involved a lot of people. And they also like did a lot of celebrity stuff with it. Like they had a Wyclef Jean do a cover of healthy food with Cookie Monster. This is fun. Andy Richter was on it, like teaching kids about fitness, which is pretty fun.
Andy Richter stinking up the place. Yeah.
Stinking up the joint.
Yeah, that's funny.
I did like, that's probably why I included that. It's always fun when you have a returning element like that. There's them with Alabama Senator Jeff Sessions.
Oof. Let's Google Jeff Sessions allegations. I'm sure there's something.
Yeah. Them on NPR. And the thing that I think arguably is probably the thing responsible for the Veggie Monster myth was they had Grover go on Jimmy Kimmel to promote their DVD they were putting out for this. And when Jimmy Kimmel was interviewing Grover, he did a joke about Cookie Monster having an eating disorder, and Grover improvised a response. The puppeteer did, but I refer to the Muppets as if they were people, Anyway,
yeah, of course.
Yeah, anyway, so Grover goes, "It is true. He has a little bit of a cookie problem, but not anymore. No, he is on a diet. He's only eating healthy foods. Yes, fruits and vegetables. He's looking rather svelte now, too. He's lost about 70 pounds.
Okay. So it's just a joke, and people laughed, and then other people were like, need to be angry.
Yeah. Or like I can see somebody who's like drunk and half asleep sees that, and the next day they misremember it, and they're like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Late night TV. God, yeah.
Yeah.
Just as an aside from when I was researching this, Muppets on adult talk shows and game shows is a great YouTube dive. Like there's an episode of Hollywood Squares with the bear in the Big Blue House where him and Randy Savage are next to each other. The Macho Man. That's great.
So funny. It's really just two bears hanging out.
Yeah. Bear is my favorite Muppet. I think he's a full body costume. He's very articulative and expressive. I like bears a lot, and he's a really good one.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. And so Cookie Monster was a figure in their Healthy Habits for Life initiative, but he had also been a figure in their health and nutrition education long before that, because it makes sense. If you're doing skits about nutrition and food choices, he's the guy who's based all around food. He's the guy who you use for that. And as far back as the 70s, they had been doing that. Like, there's a 70s PS in 1974 where they're like, "You're Cookie Monster, want to eat these cookies?" He's like, "No, me eat vegetables first. Me eat fruit first. No, me eat cookie." Like, that's the thing, the sort of pattern that they fall into this.
I mean, just the first one that you scrolled past is it's the fact that it doesn't have any text. It's just so abstract because it's Cookie Monster eating a banana and eating an apple, and there's all this fruit piled in front of him with this yellow background, but his like googly eyes are pointed in two different directions. And so with no text, it's just kind of like this stark statement. It's very strange. God, that's funny.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, it's so good.
Throw a parental advisory sticker on that, and buddy, you got an album going.
Yeah, like there was early seasons where they did nutrition lessons on that. One that like I personally remember was in 1988. They did the song "Healthy Food." That was probably one of my first exposures to rap because they were showing it throughout the 90s.
Yeah, it's like, why is he wearing a chain?
Yeah. It was them riffing on the Walk This Way collaboration between Run DMC and Aerosmith. So that's why he's kind of dressed like Run DMC. And So yeah, like even when I was a kid, he was singing about healthy food and how great it is. Like that's kind of one of Cookie Monster's thing.
That's so fun.
Yeah. So in 2005, 2006, MySpace is the thing, but this is still largely circulating through email forwards and word of mouth. And I think one of the reasons why it stood out to me at the time when I encountered it is it's something that's really easy to fact check. Like I was in high school, but you go to PBS's website, there's nothing about it. If you look on Google, it's just friend of a friend stories and people referencing them. I feel like whenever they do something like this, they actually announce it and there's stuff about it. So I was like, okay, this is real. Yeah. And the one that I think stood out to me the most when I was researching it is like one of the big reactionary grievance was they had a song called "A Cookie is a Sometimes Food." And I think based on the title, you assume it's Cookie Monster scolding people about not eating cookies. But if you actually watch the joke is that a character is singing the song to Cookie Monster to try to convince him not to eat cookies. And then at the end, he just goes, "Right now is sometime, cookie!" And then he just chows down on the cookie instead of the fruit. Like, he doesn't learn the lesson. It's quite funny.
Yeah, and it's also just like, Oh man, that's a great picture. Oh dude, blur. This rocks. Because it's some sort of like owl bear Muppet looking at Cookie Monster about to eat a big old cookie, but he's like blurry in the violence of his action. That's so good. That's so fucking funny. What, dude, the tableau of these screen caps that you get are just, because I don't see anything else about it. I just see like this single screenshot that you take. It's just so amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, a lot of times I watch a video and I have to like pick out a specific screen I think will be funny. So I try and pick out good ones. I'm glad that comes through.
No, that's great.
Yeah, so the entire joke of the skit is the opposite of what people assumed it was. And this became such a problem that in 2006, they did a skit with Matt Lauer from NBC Today where Cookie Monster denies the allegations. Like, they actually just made this a part of the show. I have you want to read that
Matt Lauer. Yeah. Man, dude, do you think that, like, there was, like a nod of agreement between the Elmo puppet the who was it? And Matt Lauer? Yeah.
Kevin Clash. Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes, should we start calling you Fruit Monster? And Cookie Monster goes, well, that I can kind of do the voice, but I don't want to put you guys through that. So let's read it. He goes, well, that got nice ring to it, but no,
dude. Okay. We gotta
Okay.
do it to it, man. You're Matt Lauer. I'm Cookie Monster. Okay.
Okay. Should we start calling you Fruit Monster?
Well, that's got a nice ring to it, but no. You members of the media blow story way out of proportion. Me still like cookies. Me eat fruit, and then me eat cookie for dessert.
You got to roll the R's. Okay. Is my change to the Cookie Monster.
All right, I'll do the next Cookie Monster so you don't blow your voice out.
Okay.
It's fun, yeah. And they also had a form letter that they were sending out because they were getting so many emails about Veggie Monster. If you wrote about this, your response would be, thank you for writing to PBS. We always enjoy receiving feedback from our viewers and fans. The educational goal of Sesame Street is to help prepare children for school and to put them on a positive trajectory for life. Childhood obesity is a serious health concern in this country, and the producers of Sesame Street decided to include this important subject in their curriculum. While they have chosen to use the power of Sesame Street to teach children about healthy foods and other important healthy habits, they have no plans to change Cookie Monster's name or his wonderful, compulsive personality, which our viewers have grown to love. Cookie Monster will continue to obsess over his adored favorite, the cookie, but he also now eats fruits and vegetables. Thank you again for your email. We appreciate your concern for Sesame Street and hope you and your family continue to enjoy the wide variety of programs available to you on your local PBS station.
Yep.
That's how you do it.
Sure. I also think, no, we're not. That's not real. You believed a lie is definitely more of how I would handle it.
So sometimes talking to adults like preschoolers gets the point across better than being mean.
Yeah, this is true. The number of times I've had to like whisper to people that were talking loudly in a comedy show is just like, you do have to talk to them like they're children. Yeah.
Also, if you went to the Sesame Street website and searched for Veggie Monster, the top result would be nope, he's still Cookie Monster.
That's great. Yeah.
Like they built that into the website. On social media, he was like, I'll do this next. He goes, time to put end to room. No, that's not more. Death Lord Cookie Monster. Time to put an end to rumors. Yes, me eat vegetables. No, not going to be called Vegetable Monster. This whole thing's silly.
Him getting frustrated. Oh, he was on autocomplete? That's awesome.
Yeah, they did a Wired autocomplete interview in 2017 with Sesame Street, and one of the questions they had, did Cookie Monster change to Veggie Monster? Be hearing this all the time. No, be Cookie Monster.
But he's just like, he's frustrated, and you know that he goes back to his trailer in the like in between like filming shots where he's just like blasting cigs in the back there. That's funny.
This is now just canonically part of the lore of the character. A couple years ago, they did an entire episode about Cookie Monster having to convince people that he isn't a veggie monster after a reporter sees him eating vegetables once. And they used it to teach kids about media literacy. So like they kind of reclaimed it. Yeah. Yeah. So
they have, who's this hunk? I know this guy. Mario Lopez?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. It's Mario Lopez. He sees Cookie Monster eating carrot sticks and is like, it's confirmed, Cookie Monster is now Veggie Monster. And they even have like Me Too with a video and everything.
That's so funny. And the kid in the background is like, what what the fuck?
Yeah, I watched the clip. He literally just shows up out of nowhere, and they're like, "Where did you come from?"
That's awesome.
It's great, yeah. And so, yeah, like I said earlier, so just shout out to Muppet fans in general for being so obsessive and methodical. This could have been a lot harder to research, but that's kind of just the path that the Veggie Monster myth took, that it spread. They did their best to address it, and it's still out there, but at least now it's just kind of like it's part of the lore of the character. And ultimately, it doesn't really matter that much. It's more like what it represents, I feel like. You know, when people can fall for something that doesn't matter, it's just a good reminder. Like, I fall for stuff too. I'm not above this. And it's like, a good reminder to just maybe to check stuff. Because I encounter stuff researching this show that I didn't know I was wrong about for years. So I totally get it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. My opinion about the Veggie Monster is who gives a fuck about this? I don't care if it was real or not. This has been a fun episode. Don't get me wrong. It's the outsized reaction that people have had, because I remember people getting heated about it, and it's just like, what are we doing? Like, you have a mortgage. Like, what are we doing? Yeah, we're
in college. You could be getting drunk right now.
Oh yeah, I mean, like and I have a list of things of like the fake email chains that people had, and I have a few listed here, but the one that I always remember is like the reported things that were said by George Carlin that are like absolutely not George Carlin, not in any way, or like not in his tone, not in anything. The only thing that it was like is that George Carlin had this patter that would be like, we got a little bit of this, but we have and then like would flip the words, but we don't have the opposite of that. We have the and so he would just be like, oh, we have guns in school, but we don't have prayer. We have and it's like, it's just such like, where was like, yes, George Carlin, mind you, this is George Carlin in the age of the email, when his wife was already dead and he was furious with the world, and his shit was like, God is fake, you people are animals, I'm going to kill you all. And like, someone somewhere is like, I'm going to use this to get people to show up to my church where I assault children. Like, it's so frustrating how wrong they got it. Like, every time I've seen a fictional portrayal of Manson in something where like they have him as a cartoon character, or when he was the claymation model in Celebrity Deathmatch, they got his like voice and like the way that he talks completely wrong. And I'm just like, oh, you guys don't have a love for the genre. You don't actually care about the things that you're writing about. You just run with the first thing you think. It's frustrating. Anyways, you have a little anecdote here.
Yeah, my sort of ending anecdote is like a sort of continuous thing I had growing up was realizing kind of how gullible and ignorant teachers and authorities were about the internet, even though they were very knowledgeable and mature about most other things. Like, well, and this is kind of a list of just some of those ones I remembered. Like, one that was a big one for me was almost every other classroom I had growing up had this thing on the wall that they printed out called Bill Gates' 11 Rules You'll Never Learn in School. And it wasn't actually written by Bill Gates. It was written in the 80s by some conservative motivational speaker. And it's all like, yep, you're not going to graduate and get $100,000 right out the bat. Don't be entitled, like that type of stuff. Like, basically prepping people for not taking the Great Recession seriously and thinking their kids are just whiners.
Yeah, and like, I remember there's some picture somewhere of like, these are 10 things that you can do that don't require effort. And it was just like, showing up early with a positive attitude, getting your homework done before it needs to be done, like all of these things that are just like, and somebody just wrote in red over it, just says, all of these require effort. Like, again, it comes back to the thesis. To be a child is to live in a private fascistic dictatorship. Like, they treat you like an animal. It is misery, and is these sneering adults treating children like they are just completely without agency. It's so fucking frustrating. I was just talking recently about like how I wish I could go back and like shadow young me around the adults that treated me like a dog, and just maybe be a smartass, but also knock the fucking teeth out of these people that talk to me like I'm an idiot. Like, the humiliation of a child is it sticks with you, you know?
Yeah, that is like when you meet someone your age who has kids and they're a good parent, it's like sincerely just like the best thing. There's a guy, like one of our listeners in like our Discord who hangs out there, like he has kids and he's like, oh yeah, my daughter's is wearing this cosplay thing to school. It's cute. Like he like lets his kids do stuff and it's nice. Like it's so cool when you see parents who aren't like how our parents were.
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean, like my mom was pretty chill. She let me go to a Manson show when I was in like 8th grade. That was sick. And you know, honestly, my mom was probably a little too lenient, given the rest of what happened with my life and with her, or with my other parts of house life. But yeah, like I and it's also fun, but not fun. It's interesting to meet parents who think that they're doing the cool stuff because they have one thing that they're lenient about. I knew a guy in Omaha who's like, he recognized I was like wearing all the death metal goth stuff, and he's like, oh yeah, my daughter's really into that, and we have an agreement that on Friday she gets to express herself. He was just like, he was really proud of that. He's like, the rest of the week you have to be 10 and 2, you have to be wearing your uniform, you have to say yes sir, thank you sir, but on Friday you can wear a t-shirt. Like it was just, and he was like really proud with how lenient he was being. I'm like, oh man,
yeah. You're
going to be put into a home that has a mysterious bathtub full of acid that gets reported about in a Netflix documentary, aren't you? Like that's what's going to happen to you, huh?
You remember that stuff. It doesn't just go away.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. And another one that was since it was Florida, the giant snake ones were very popular. There'd always be these like very obviously forced perspective photos of people holding snakes that looked like they were really big. And the fact that it was forced perspective made it work. So if it was a Photoshop, at least I could understand not being familiar. But like literally just someone holding it close to the camera. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, they did this back in the 1910s by doing like a forced perspective of an eggplant closer to the camera, and like having some guys stand further away to make it seem like, in Idaho, we grow eggplants to the size of a mule. It was like, I think there's a section of, if you're at an antique store with a shitload of postcards, they'll have a section for giant vegetables. It was a whole thing. They're very cute.
That rolls.
Yeah.
And also sort of different from that, but like, because one thing always sticks out to me is like teachers would have these very made up rules about what was trustworthy on the internet. Like a very common one for me was like .com websites aren't trustworthy, but .org ones are. And it's like,
Of course, where all the NGOs are that are funded by billionaires. Yes, that's where we're going to get our stuff. And also make sure that you trust the .gov websites where you can go and find about the trans menace or whatever the fuck they're putting on whitehouse.gov now.
Definitely. That is like a future episode. I think I was maybe one about when the APA finally added a citation format for websites. Because like throughout a lot of the 90s, teachers just wouldn't let you use websites as sources because there was no way to cite them. So that's like a part of that is too how academia reacted to this.
Oh, that's so frustrating.
Yeah. God, yeah. And also, like, this is something that has sort of continued even to adulthood. Like, in the 2010s, when I was training for my call center job, the trainer, like, we had some time where she was, like, had some downtime with showing YouTube videos, and she shows this fake video of a car that was chroma keyed to make it look like it was changing colors. And I was like, that's just chroma keying. And she's like, oh, no, they do it with magnets. It says it right in the description. And I was like, this person is training me, and they are this incredulous.
Yeah, that's so funny. Dude, I mean, like, you don't need me to tell you, but you log on to Facebook right now, and it's just people, like, earnestly posting the clearest AI slop of like Trump digging through the rubble of like a ruined house, and it's like Hurricane Hardonkachud came through and destroyed this city, and Trump spent 16 hours digging through the trash, and people are just like, amen, thank you, in the comments, and it's like, that hurricane didn't happen. No, he didn't. This is fake. Why are you sharing this? Also, why are you still trying to get me to book you on a show that hasn't existed in 4 years? Like,
God, when I was researching this, one of the recent Snopes myths about Sesame Street that was incredibly funny to me was it was about a fake AI generated clip of Tupac on Sesame Street because like it was in the vertical orientation. It was done in like phone format. It had 2 big watermarks on it saying it was from an AI account that makes like AI parody videos, and people were still like, "Yo, is this real?" Like, I think it's because TikTok videos are just so stolen and uploaded that like people are just tune out all the zillion watermarks everything has on them.
Yeah, it's just like relinquish your thoughts that what you see on your screen is real, because it's not. Like, it should rock you to your core because it's not fucking real. Oh God, yeah. And then the shark one I remember.
Yeah, that was a good one, a positive one, because I had a teacher that actually explained how it was fake and showed us the source images. Like when teachers were actually savvy on this stuff and knew about it, it made you appreciate it. Like, yeah, she pulled up that sort of classic famous Photoshop of a guy climbing into a helicopter while a shark jumps out of the water and showed us the source images that it came from. It was like, yeah, this is a thing that people can do. You can't trust everything you see online. I was like, wow, an adult gets it. This rules.
Yep. The simplest fucking things, you know?
If we ever do a 9/11 episode, it's going to have a lot of those, like the death tourist and such.
Yep, and also the big demon head that appeared in the smoke that doesn't look anything like a demon. It's just somebody like, it's like, God, what was it? It was like the Phantom Pain one where they just like, hey, if you flip the logo upside down and move the letters around and then add some more letters and take some letters out, it actually spells out there's going to be a sequel. You know, or whatever the fuck it was. Yeah, if you change it, it will be something different. Yep.
Yeah. And so just to hold myself accountable, here are some examples of things that I've fallen for over the years. For a long time, I thought that Josh Peck from Drake and Josh had died in a car accident. And that was just what, this is something that happens to everyone, where there's a fake celebrity death thing about somebody you don't actually care about, so you don't bother to check it. And then years later, you find, oh, no, he's still around. Or like musicians, that happens to sometimes. That's a pretty, also because on the internet, that's an easy way of getting clicks, is like before they had AI-generated trailers, it was fake death announcements.
Yep. Yeah, lots of those. Just post a picture of them in black and white and just say like, remembering Shonda Rhimes, remembering Guy Fieri, like, you know, just a picture of a little candle next to it. You know, that's all you got to do. And
one that really kind of had egg on my face was all the PETA killed someone's dog stories. I was really fond of those, and like to tell them to people. And if you actually investigate them, like they're the two big ones. There was one time it was like the dog was on the side of the road and it didn't have a collar or a leash or anything, so the person took it to a shelter. And the other one was like at a trailer park where like they had a feral animal problem, so they invited PETA people come in and clean up it and like collect the animals and take them to a shelter. And one of the animals was someone's dog that was unattended without a collar or a leash. Like things that if you actually look into it, wasn't, but the way people present, it's like PETA people literally like stealing people's dogs and then like killing them, like when that's not what happened at all. And I felt pretty embarrassed about it. I was like that into it because you know it's a fun story. But
under no circumstances do you have to hand it to PETA, but they probably didn't do those two things. But yes, I do know what you mean.
And also personal ones, I still have people telling me that pandas aren't bears, they're actually raccoons. They're like, no, they are members of the Ursus family. I know more about this than you do.
Yes, yeah. Do not step to me. I have like 60-year-old women sending me AI stuff about like the fungus in Chernobyl, and I'm like, yes, technically some fungus can process some parts of beta radiation. It takes a very long time, and it doesn't look like the trumpet of death fungus that you just sent me. It doesn't look like that. Please click elsewhere. I don't want to deal with this, you know?
Exactly. And we already did the closing thought about how, like, you know, there's nothing wrong with being wrong about this. It's just how you react to it. So I have a fun closing bit I thought we could get into. So I mentioned the Muppet fans being very exhaustive. One of the articles I found researching this is called Items Other Than Cookies Consumed by Cookie Monster. So I thought it would be fun to just kind of go through some of the highlights of the weird things that Cookie Monster has eaten over the years.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, so maybe I'll start and then we can alternate on them.
I like the idea of having one that's like a little steel washer. And it's the episode where you learn about like how to sue the cookie company.
Yeah.
God, the Muppet Wiki logo is very unsettling. I know it's Kermit's eye, but it's like, that's weird.
An isolated Kermit eye looks like a very arcane symbol.
Yeah, it very much does. It looks like it's like a top-down image of a stick man. Does that make sense? You're looking at a stick man from above. Yeah.
Yeah, a stick man doing the weapons run.
Yes, exactly.
With his arms out. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, so I'll start, and I figure we can kind of alternate on them. So, item microphone from the Dick Cavett show.
Naturally, of course. Mattresses. Okay. So he's like Ed from Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
Yeah, he'll just eat anything. The unt part from a don't sign.
Letter of the day, D. Oh, man, the 1973 Ford F-250 pickup truck. That's awesome.
Truck. And every one of these, he's like mid-bite in full manic energy. It's wonderful, yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's so good. It's just such a satisfying look.
Yeah, Hooper Store. He ate Mr. Hooper's store in one episode.
Oh, that's so funny. television equipment. Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, they're doing like some PBS fundraiser, and they're eating the cameras.
If the moon was a cookie, oh god, that's so cute. He's in like the most cartoony rocket, and he's eating the moon. It hits me, man. I didn't even watch Sesame Street growing up. This is cute, though.
Yeah, that was one of the things. Like, for me, Sesame Street was almost kind of like my parents' nostalgic. So it was like what they grew up with, and then they showed it to me. But it was still good. Yeah. Susan and Gordon's Volkswagen Beetle from Follow That Bird, which is the theatrical Sesame Street movie that came out in the 80s.
Oh, that's fun. I do love adults interacting with the Muppets. It's just so funny.
Yeah, and also, that's a good one, because getting to see them in like film quality is very cool. Yeah.
Item, nearly all of Sesame Street. He's just like eating a lot of the buildings and the street signs and stuff.
Yeah, and for the Laugh-In fans out there, Gladys Ormsby's pocketbook.
Oh, that's fun.
They're having cameos from the shows that were popular at the time.
Yeah, it looks like he's just eaten Dylan Klebold's Tech 9 is what it looks like. Film strip and Rosebud. Oh, that's fun. Okay. Yeah, he's eating the sled from the famous movie The Sled.
He's watching the sled from the famous movie Don't Get Too Rich and Forget Who You Are.
Exactly, yeah.
Faith Hill and Tim McGraw's Kaleidoscope.
Oh, that bastard.
He's wearing a little cowboy hat.
That's cute. Matt Lauer's microphone. Probably for the best.
Yeah. Stephen Colbert's Peabody Award.
Yeah, good. Fuck him. That's funny.
Yeah, very...
The Emmy from the Emmy Awards. Oh, wow. Dude, seeing them standing up is really funny.
Yeah, that is a neat part. Seeing like when the puppeteers are with the Muppets and they're both acting side by side. That's always quite fun. I mean, I like that they make an effort to make the Muppets be real. They don't ever break kayfabe even when they're on adult stuff. Yeah,
that's so funny. And like, I guess, do we have like a canonical depiction of what his legs look like? Does the Cookie Monster have a penis?
I remember like the illustrated books would have full body stuff.
Yeah, that's right. That makes sense.
He's kind of like Grimace from the McDonald's land. He has like those type of legs.
Yeah, okay. Probably just a cloaca.
Yeah, an Xbox 360 from Once Upon a Monster. He had Tim Schafer, the guy who made Psychonauts, made a Sesame Street game, but it's for the Kinect, so nobody's ever played it.
Oh, that's fun. Oh, I mean, it is a funny way of meeting a celebrity. Like I would shake hands with the puppeteer and be like, oh, wow, that's great. You do this. But when I see the puppeteer as the Cookie Monster, I'm like, oh, my God, can I get your autograph? I'll bet there's autograph stuff. Cookie Monster's autograph. That's funny.
Yeah, I bet his autograph is just taking a chomp out of one of the pages
that's
of your autograph
really
book.
Funny.
Like his bite mark is his autograph.
Yeah, God, that's fun. The YouTube Rewind logo. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I do like this march through time and technology. He starts out eating like an old pickup truck, and now he's eating Xboxes.
So he's got like a really acidic stomach to eat all this stuff. John Oliver's tie. That's fun.
I like this one, just how it's stated. Wig, parentheses, mistaken for spaghetti.
I mean, it does look like spaghetti. And Elmo's just like, oh, man. Of course. He's eating the questionnaire card from the Wired autocomplete interview. That's perfect, of course. The Netflix logo.
Yeah, when they announced that they were working with Netflix now after HBO dropped them. And all the way back in the 70s, we have him eating the TV Guide logo, like complete full circle.
That's great. Good for him, man. What a treat. Well, yeah. This was sweet. This was cuter than I expected.
Yeah.
What a treat.
See, I could have been a lot angrier about this, but instead I was like, no, let's be fun about it.
That's what I bring to the table, man. Your job is to be informative. My job is to be sad and angry.
I keep that off the page.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, this has been a lot of fun. We thank you so much for listening. We do have a Patreon. Please check it out. We do have Rex at the end of the episode, but before that, we do have our plugs. Patreon, $1, bunch of new episodes, lots of fun. And we're about to record one right now, actually.
We're doing a bonus episode since we talked about children's shows today. I this made me a little nostalgic, so I looked up the 90s lineup on the Trinity Broadcasting Network Saturday morning kid block, which is the Christian cable television network that my mom made me watch instead of Power Rangers and Animaniacs. So we're going to look at some this might be our first analog horror episode. There's a lot of creepy looking puppets in it on really bad VHS rips.
Yeah, this is rough. This makes me think of that historic black hotel that I stayed in last year that was like everything covered in purple velvet and gold, and it was just like the grimiest hotel I've ever seen. But yeah, where everything is like just impossibly regal and fancy, and there's this huge jeweled crown, and it says Trinity Broadcasting Network. Yeah, that's great.
With like with being flanked by heraldic lions on each side.
Yeah. Well, if you want to, please give us a review. We are on everything to review. We got the whole thing up everywhere. You're listening to it now, blah, blah, blah. If you want to know more about me, winslowdomain.com has my website and all of my store and all that stuff. Got some new stuff coming soon. You can find me on Twitter at winslowdomain and Instagram at calculations. Jay, where can they find you?
I'm jaybrandstetter on Blue Sky, and I have my link tree in the show notes. Not really working on anything right now. If you want to collaborate on anything, let me know.
Yeah, cool. Well, you have a rec for this thing. What do you got for me?
Yeah, I don't normally watch TV very much anymore, but this was free on YouTube to promote the second season, so I watched the first season of the Fallout TV show, and I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it. Like, it's by Jonathan, the guy who did Westworld, and it does kind of have that. It is very much like a Western, but I was surprised at how funny it was. Like, it has like good bits in it and jokes. Like, I don't know, just and also the special effects are really good. They do a lot of practical effects in it. Like the power armor looks really cool because it's all like foam and stuff. So they actually wear these giant suits of armor that they run around in. It's pretty neat. Like they're like when the suit of armor flies, it's very obviously like the guy on a crane. It's with the screen edited out. It's pretty fun.
That's good. Yeah, I think. I don't know. Like it looks fun. It looks a little too squeaky clean for me, and Fallout got a little too comedic in the second, third, fourth, and so on. It looks good. People are liking it, and I hope it gets them into the earlier games for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, like make no mistake, there are a couple of times where they immediately underline a serious moment with a quip in a way that's pretty annoying. Like the 90s Fallouts are full of really bad 90s humor, like you mentioned. Like that's kind of one of the things that like, so this one does have, but for the most part, like I enjoy it. There is some fan service in it, but they did it is canonical for the games and like they get some good actors in it. Chris Parnell is in an episode as a vault overseer, which is pretty fun. Like I always like when that guy pops up on stuff, even if his episode wasn't very good.
Yeah. And Walton Goggins just acting his ass off. Yeah. So
yeah, all three of the leads are great. I was really surprised at how much I like Maximus, the Brotherhood of Steel guy, because I'm not really into the Brotherhood of Steel, but he's fun because he's a really impulsive guy who makes really bad decisions all the time. So it's just him constantly getting a deep shit and then fucking up trying to fix it. It's very fun.
Yeah, cool. Well, that's good, man. I'm glad you're having fun with that. I have just been grinding my teeth a lot lately, so I haven't actually done a whole lot other than I've written the full storyline of the game, the new one that I'm working on now. So I've been sharing that with a few people. I shared it with a friend, and I shared it with my buddy Angel, and his response to how the new game ends was just the Lisa Simpson staring blankly at the empty table emoji. You know what I mean? Of her just going.
Yeah, I was going to say those ending cards are pretty intense.
Oh, they are brutal. It's and the lead up to it, because you kind of have to see how it gets to where it goes, but it's more than just a character telling you what the world is like now, but it's also you learning more about this character and what his life has been in the last 10 years of working for the organization that he works for. And it is like a kind of dystopia that I genuinely have never seen before. I've never heard anything remotely like this, of like a new way of making the world completely uninhabitable. And so it's just really interesting. I really like, I like what I wrote, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, outside of that, I have been mostly suffering and picking at some stuff for Clover Pit a little bit, but other than that, I've just been kind of just grinding my teeth a lot. But please, if you want to know more about that game, please hop on my Discord. The link is all over my social media, and we have plenty of stuff there. But lots of new cards. You can see more of it and learn the story as well. So that's all for me. Thank you all so much for listening, and we will be back next week with even more. Take care. I'm From the Internet is created by jaybrandstetter and Winslow Domain. Edited by Steve Brown. Music by Steve Isbrook.